players. Phil Bentham possibly angry that his career's over.
He's still got a video ref booth gig, I think, and he trains some of the young refs. No, I don't think Phil Bentham. I think at Super League games it might well be Ralphie, Wreck-It Ralph. He might be there because his RFL Twitter feed doesn't talk much about Super League anymore, but talks a lot about the Championship and the Challenge Cup.
Maybe it's the people behind the New York bid.
Ah.
Maybe they're trying to, if they kill off a few players, they might find their way in, get some attention.
It's all crazy speculation.
Yeah.
I don't really think anyone in Rugby League is going to have the capability of purchasing a rifle, finding us a concealed space to line up in, and
agreeing which rifle to purchase.
Yeah, that would be the biggest problem would be that, and then there would be definitely an admin snafu on getting it onto the plane to get to the south of France, Tim. So. Malcolm TR said, slow game, Giants are poor, we tried to match them, we won't sell out the mini Estadi, let alone the main stadium in May unless Steves takes off the handbrake.
Phil Nadian said, both teams started slowly with mistakes all over. Catalan looked better with time and after a few scores grew in confidence. With this they ended up punishing Huddersfield and made them look worse than I think they actually are.
Paul Mac _78 said, we look good for 10 minutes, rubbish for 70. Darnell and Wardle can hold their heads up high, wouldn't feed the rest. Seb looks a shadow of the player of 2 years ago, frustrating. As for Les Cats, they will be hard to beat at home, can see them in the top 3. Shame they are as French fries.
David KP says, brutal, just brutal. As the game should be played, a great advert for Rugby League, both teams hard at it. Apart from Aaron Murphy, I'd agree.
Tom Andrews didn't see the game, but just wanted to make a point about the Aaron Neymar Murphy. I want the RFL to draw a line in the sand and ban him for 2 games, and in future, bring Tom Daly on the field. Being Tom Daly on the field is now a sin-binnable offence. Well, it didn't get any sort of ban. And I was expecting not a ban, but maybe one of them caution warning letters that they get. To sort of say, get other contrary behaviour or something. I was expecting that. But anyway, didn't happen.
Dear Mr. Murphy, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Go back to reporting on ice hockey. Aaron Murphy deserves a ban for what he did, throwing himself on the deck. This is from Rich Wilkinson. Thomas Luluan, week 1. Now this. I'm genuinely disgusted at this point. Play acting our game is as bad as it gets. Cass, Catalan, Wigan and Hull FC have been the main offenders over the past few years. Add Huds to that list this year. Don't forget, this is a Huddersfield side that until recently had Danny Brough in it. So they're not exactly innocent up to this point.
The Luluai one from last week, he did exaggerate. He did exaggerate things a little bit. I'm not going to say that he didn't. But it was a clear piece of foul play that I don't think the match officials would have spotted. I don't have confidence in them to have spotted it when it was like a clothesline hook around the neck. This one I don't even think was a penalty. I don't think there was any foul play in this one. So diving to win a penalty is bad, I agree, but not reprehensible when it's a clear fucking piece of foul play by someone doing a bad act in terms of what was happening there. Cheating on the other side of it, that was a cheating move. So if you're cheating against cheating, do we say it cancels it out? Let's have a go at the Saints player for the move, for the dickhead hook round the neck move as well. But this one, there was no penalty, was there? No, it was crazy. But thanks for winding me up, Rich, by reminding me how annoyed I was at people getting at Tommy Luluai last week when he was fouled. That's my own bias coming out.
I think the Tierney try was probably my standout moment of this game, and the general interplay that you sort of saw, particularly Matty Smith slotting in really well and working a decent combination with Sam Tompkins.
Yeah, that came to fruition in that try, didn't it, that you mentioned. That was a real good wide passing set that Catalan put on through all their playmakers' hands and got Tierney into space well.
Yeah, anything else that, because you watched more of this game than I did, anything else that stood out for you?
I enjoyed when Darnell McIntosh remembered that he had to sprint to close down that. I can't remember who made the initial break for the Catalan Dragons. It might have been Matt Whitley or Ben. I can't remember, to be honest, who made the initial break. But for all money, I thought Darnell had him 20, 30 metres out when they first set off. But Darnell didn't quite get into his sprint straight away. The ball was offloaded to Lange. Darnell read it really well and went and took down Lange. That I thought was a great moment in the game. I just thought it was a physical game. It was a tough physical game. Sky kept the French broadcaster kept re-showing the big hits, which I think they're want to do, and to be honest, it emphasised how physical a game it was. I thought it was a decent game, but Huddersfield just didn't offer anywhere near enough in attack at all. After Matt Frawley's dummy and try right at the start, I don't think they offered much else at all. And I think you've picked out the right try to say that was the best try of the game. Sam Tompkins' try was a little bit more of a bizarre try where it bounced up, but he got to score on his home debut too, and I think he played pretty well overall in this one. I would say Matt Whitley though was really good. I don't know. I think he got the 3 points from the Man of Steel panel, which is great because they saw what I saw then. Because him and Braden Williami, I thought were really good in combination, kind of being forced into being centre and winger rather than second rower and centre. I thought they were great.
Yeah, just looking at the Goldthorpe voting, it was Tompkins, Whitley, and then Darnell McIntosh.
Yeah, they tend to do a token losing side one, don't they? Usually.
Yeah. They tend to try and spread it out.
Whereas the Man of Steel picks went with Matt Whitley as 1, McAlorum as 2 points, and Braden Williami as 1 point. McAlorum played the full 80, so that was good there. Yeah. Okay.
Time to move on.
Game 5, Sundays. One of Sunday's 2 games, Tim. I'm going to let you take us through this one. What we know.
Yeah, this is as the Salford Red Devils move top the table, a bit of spoiler there, by scoring 24 points to London's 0. 3,236 were at the AJ Bell for this, in front of Mr. James Child, singular, 6-0 at half-time. And the stats say that Salford made nearly 500 more metres than the visitors, with 7 breaks to 2 and 4 tries to 0. They took advantage of the 55 more carries they had than the Broncos. For London, under 1,000 metres, always the losing sign, and below 90% team tackle success rate is that recipe for defeat. Only 10 penalties in the game, lowest in the opening rounds, sharing 5 apiece. In terms of individuals, Ken Seo, 1 try, 160 metres. Jackson Hastings picked up a try, 3 try assists, 8 tackle busts, and ran for 151 metres. Daryl Alford, 8 tackle busts, 138 metres. Josh Jones, 1 try, 1 try assist, and 7 tackle busts. On the losing side of the coin, Elliot Keir made 8 tackle busts and ran for 151 metres. Rhys Williams, 112 metres. Matty G made 42 tackles, 10 from marker. And Luke Yates made 41 tackles himself. We had just the one fan view on this one.
Yeah, Paul Kimball got in touch. He said, London got what they deserved. They never really looked like scoring. Defence was brilliant. Unlucky conceding the first 2 tries. Error by us and a rebound off the post. I would like to know the stats, as we must have hit 200 tackles. Took Salford 20 minutes to score the first try. Tries 3 and 4 were both down to tiredness. Saying that, though, London never looked like scoring, even if they were still playing now. Yeah, I think one thing to say on the stats... obviously, I didn't write down the tackle numbers because we would have probably read something out about them if we'd have focused on them. But 55 more carries from Salford, and then you normally expect around about 2 men per tackle. So that's an extra 100 tackles effectively that they had to make, that their players made because of those carries. The fact that they had 4 players turn up in the stats roundup for a nilling says that there was effort from the London Broncos, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, what did you see from this game? Star players and maybe any highlight reel moments?
Hastings, and a bit more Hastings.
Yeah.
I think.
Did he get 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point in this one for the Man of Steel voting? Because he might well have done.
He should have done, really, shouldn't he? I can't remember which try it was, but the kick he put forward that came off the post.
That was actually his try, and it was Niall Evalds' kick.
I was Evalds that put it in. The problem is, those numbers, I can't read between a 7 and a 1 at distance.
He wears 31.
It all looks the same.
Anyway, yeah, he scored 1 and set up 3, didn't he? So.
Yeah. And just generally what you're going to expect, and that does take them ahead early on. I think this is something that London could well have to. This is more of what we were expecting rather than last week.
Yeah, probably. Probably so. How come Lee Mossop was sin-binned for fighting, but was there no one sin-binned from London?
Well, I thought Jay Pitts. It looked on the thing like Jay Pitts was also given a talking to.
But he didn't actually get sin-binned, so obviously...
He didn't actually get sin-binned, it was just Lee Mossop, yeah.
Aggressor. Mossop did not get a ban as a result of that. I didn't get any follow-up action, so there you go.
Yeah, not a huge amount for me to say about this one. Pretty much what you'd expect with a Hastings added Salford and a London side, which is, I think, we might see more of.
Yeah, Salford's depth hasn't been tested yet, has it? So, they've got some class at times with some of those guys. Evalds and Hastings are just class players, aren't they? Let's face it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's everything for this one.
Okay, on to the final game then. It finished at the Mobile Rocket Stadium. Wakefield 18, St Helens 24. It was 10-all at half-time. 5,815 saw this one. Robert Hicks was the referee. Maybe a little bit of disappointing crowd. Hopefully more people can turn out for this Wakefield side. I know they had a bad defeat in round one. They seem to have shown a bit more effort and came close in this one, but Saints just edged it. Saints made just under 100 more metres than Wakefield, although they had fewer carries. They made ground 1.1 metre per carry, better average gain. Defensively, they made more tackles, Saints did, and they missed fewer tackles than their host, with a 2.7% better overall team tackle success rate off the back of that. Trinity were more offload happy than Saints, 16-4 in that count, but both sides made 7 clean breaks, and Saints were able to score tries, crucially, 5 tries to 3 in this one. Individually, for the winning St Helens side, Golden Boot man Tommy Makinson had 2 tries, 9 tackles, 128 metres, 3 clean breaks. Luke Thompson made 114 metres, a warning for raising the knees, but he still rampages on. James Roby, 44 tackles and 103 metres. What an outstanding effort. Morgan Knowles scored a try, 48 tackles as well, so his overall progress is looking good. You'll like that as a Welshman.
Definitely do.
On the losing side, Tom Johnston impressed with 2 tries, 6 tackles, 151 metres and 2 clean breaks. David Fafita bullied his way to 137 metres and 3 successful offloads. Physical stuff from him. Reece Lynn, 116 metres, and Kyle Wood made 47 tackles. Now, I said we would return to Kyle Wood playing 80 minutes. Kyle Wood's stat line of 47 tackles reminds me of a few times last year where he had to play long minutes too. And basically, you completely drain the effectiveness out of a halfback come hooker like Kyle Wood when you're making him make that many tackles. I think, there's some others out there who are, not big blokes as hookers, but kind of know how to get themselves around the tackles. I'm thinking of Danny Houghton, Sam Powell. They know how to get themselves around tackles, get the tackle stats up, but don't necessarily expend too much energy with the way they're playing. Kyle Wood, I think, is a guy who needs to put all his energy into making these tackles, and it's going to blunt him on the other end. So that's a concern for Wakey, I think. What did the Wakey White have to say?
He said, great game of bruising rugby down at Bellevue. Wakefield recovering from their horror show against London to get within a whisker of the win. Thought overall Wakefield were the better side, but errors and penalties came at the wrong times. Main difference was Roby, though. Anytime they got a quick play of the ball, he was on hand to make metres, while we had a knackered Carl Wood playing 80 minutes.
St David said, best thing about today was the Titanic plum porter in Fernandez Brewery. Bloody cold, blowing a gale, pitched like a pudding, Hicks blowing the pee out of it and Coop booting it out on the full every other set. Made heavy weather of it, but got the win onwards. Yeah, 11-10 penalty count, so that's high-ish, yeah.
Yeah. Finally, Mark Wilson says, who's at Willowtree88, poor start from Wakefield, which included a knock-on from kick-off, resulted in Saints leading.